into Rule. He's got a chance to mark this one. A big, strong mark by Darren Rule.
Play on.
Oh, touch, says the umpire. Play on.
I think the call was right. He took it out of the player's hand.
Oh, Peter Beard burst through.
He's got it.
What a great goal. What a great goal, Peter Beard. Strong stuff. All the boys giving him a hug, and deservedly so. That'll be the sealer now, Fred. There's no way they can get back into the game now. 27.5 minutes in this game.
Yes, he's a good trip home in the bus tomorrow, Joe.
I think a few of the boys might have sore heads though, Fred.
I think they'll handle it. They've played two tremendous games. They've been underdogs on both days, and they've certainly proved that the country boys can take it up to the suburban city players.
Just might teach the other players a bit of respect, eh?
Yeah!
Well, just like to congratulate the Eyre Peninsula. Great game. Unfortunately, our skill level wasn't up to scratch. Maybe a bit tired from yesterday. Not sure. To Mocha and all the people that helped the boys get ready for today and yesterday, thanks very much. Thanks to all these people for coming.
And to receive the winner's cheque and the Foundation Country Championship Cup, the captain coach of the Eyre Peninsula Zone.
First thing I'd like to thank our team, our support crew, done a marvellous job over the last 4 days. Some of us had to travel for 8 hours on Thursday, and it's worth being here to win this. I'd like to thank Foundation SA for their support of country footy, and I believe that there may be a bit of a game later here. So if you hang around, you may get a good time.
I remember that. Bit cheeky, that's Marty.
Country humour.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. When did he get involved in the setup, Marty? Thanks, Julie. Lovely time.
But he can get that little book out. He's got every team in that from EP when he was a selector.
Mars on his own, gets a handball over clean to Rule. Can he pick it up cleanly? He's got around the player but dropped it, and he's missed another one.
So Marty would be there at the start of your book?
No, crowd starting to come into the game a bit here now. Well, another golden opportunity gone.
Not in that lot. 87, that was the first, that's the team that went to Broken Hill.
So who was in that?
No, Glenn Kels, Peter Beard, Oosterman.
Ruby could play a bit.
Yeah, he plays all right. Tough nut.
It certainly was.
Kim Green, you probably know about him.
Yeah, Kim Green played a bit of footy in Adelaide too, and come back and played a bit of like for EP, and was a great leader and very quiet, modest bloke, but hell, he could play footy.
So could this bloke.
Yeah, Sheep was like a little fox terrier, you know, but if somebody was giving you some trouble, you'd rely on Sheep to sort him out. If there was a bit of a scuffle started, he'd run the whole length of the ground to be in it. But he played a lot of years on the wing for EP and handled himself exceptionally well.
Brian Ramsey.
Terrific player.
Oh, you'd know most of them, would you?
Oh, yeah.
Handball on. He tries a burst clear. Gets a kick up to centre half forward. Harradine and Miller contest the ball. Comes clear to Mark Malcolm. Kicks around his body to Kuravac. To Warmington, straight into Warmington.
Umpteenth kick.
Out to Brian Ramsey, who's on as a follower for EP now, picking up plenty of kicks. Little Lindsay Henry up in front. Comes clear and he's 1 for 1 bout and straightens up and goes for goals. And he's put it through. Good goal to Lindsay Henry.
Top goal to Lindsay Henry, and Eyre Peninsula. Fred very, very strong around the ground, and Warmington picking up his umpteenth possession already for this match. He's been a real star on the wing, and Montgomery, Henry's been a real live wire on the ground as well, and just too many running players at the moment going down through the middle of the ground.
So this one's at 1986 at Woodner.
Career weight.
Broken Hill, and I'd reckon, well, just trying to think, yeah. Broken Hill were pretty strong at this point of time, eh?
Plenty of players on the bottom of the pack. Umpire's letting them go. Ball comes free out there to Carr. He gets it on quickly to Zakurovic McKenna. He's been a good player, and there's a good mark to Oysterman in front. He goes back, kicks long and high to the goal square. That's a pretty good dob. Looking down there for Kel. She's in front, 2 grabs, and he's taken a strong mark. It's only his second mark, but by geez, a big fellow, isn't he, Fred?
Yeah, he's tall hand, long, gets those long arms up. I think he's 6'8" in height, and puts his big arms up. He's takes a bit of getting over. A deliberate shot for goal, just 10 metres out. He speared it through. Another handy goal to EP. They go to 9-13. Opening up in a good winning break to Broken Hill 2-7.
Well, I know the Broken Hill coach, John Lynch, was very disappointed with the 2-goal effort in the first half of football, and he's made a lot of changes and tried to get the locals back into the match, appealed to their pride. But at this stage, Eyre Peninsula, the first 2 goals of this important third term, they're kicking with what breeze there is here at Woodner, but certainly they're well on top, or in most key positions around the ground.
Wilmington, Neil Carr.
Yeah, you got Sheep in there. He was absolutely fantastic. Yeah.
Oh, he played a lot of years. He played about, I reckon he played 12, 16 carnivals.
Number 10, once again, he's playing a good game today. Wilmington is a centre-half forward. Handball on, but there's been an infringement after he's got rid of the ball, so Wilmington will have a shot for goals, and the way he's been kicking the ball, I should say this will be some sort of a score, because he'll have no trouble with the distance. Short pass across to the little rover.
That was 87, and he's there.
So just quickly, do you remember how Marty got involved with EP?
Well, he played more like as raw, like 15-year-old or something. I remember having to stand him in his first game down there, and he only stayed one, and he went off to, I think, to Teachers College, played for Torrens over there, and then come back teaching to Sejuna, and then become captain coach of Far West, and that led to, because he's such a great leader, you know, Don McSweeney said, this is the man we want at the front of EP. Plus the fact that Far West were very strong. David Hawes and Darryl Montgomery, Snapper Miller, Huey Osterman, tough footballers, Paul Warmington. And that they brought that same attitude back to EP, which started. Antoni was an exceptional footballer in his own right.
I remember going to Broken Hill. I'd actually got injured, and so I just went to training, and it so happened that all of these guys had played. The week before, there were a lot of injuries, and because you're not playing, you go to training, you're as fresh as daisies, so you're training on a Sunday, everyone's played Saturday, you're running around. And then we were short and by attrition, so I got a ride in the bus, and we were pretty quiet on the way up. We just played a lot of cards, but and we beat them quite significantly. Blue McKenna was in the middle, and
He's been up for the knockdown to Nesbitt again. Handball to McKenna, bring the ball out of the centre square. Durden at centre half forward takes a good mark.
And I think Bluey got cleaned up very early in the game, so I got to have a bit of a run.
Yeah, he got knocked out, Blue.
Did he?
Remember that? Hard nut at Broken Hill got him in the first quarter, second quarter.
Must have been a good punch, because Blue was pretty tough, being kind cutter.
Ah, he got shirt fronted. Blue didn't see him coming. He lined him up from fair way back.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, well, he wasn't named there, but like you say, Marty had a knack of doing things.
Making things happen.
Yeah, he was a good leader. I reckon Marty was the runner that trip, Broken Hill trip.
Is that what it was?
I reckon that's what it was. Ron Croft was coach and he was runner. He got in there as a runner.
And ended up playing.
Yeah.
Tell me about Marty Marr.
Okay.
Tell me about Marty Marr.
Good footballer, yeah.
he spent some time in Adelaide, and when he returned to Stevenard, he was made to play football, you know. They taught him in Adelaide how to play football properly, you know.
And keep going.
And keep going, yeah.
Because he was relentless.
Yeah, and I think he might have coached Stevenard for a couple of years after I left, and he's always one for getting up where the football is, you know. If the football's going to come down over there and you think, oh, I'll go that way or that way, you don't worry about where you think it's going to go. You go to where that football's going to coming in. Yeah, he was big on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's how he managed to be in the right place at the right time.
I talked to him a couple of years ago because his daughter and my daughter, they went to school. They started preschool together and they went right through all their schooling, and they went to university in Adelaide together a couple of years. And we went to her birthday party, and at that stage he would have been maybe in his early 50s, and he's still playing football.
Wow.
In Adelaide here somewhere, you know, for one of the amateur teams. Yeah.
So he loved the game?
Yeah. He had a bit of football in him. His mother was a Kavanagh, and Bobby Kavanagh was the main instigator of getting Stevenard to start winning grand finals after grand final. He'd returned from Whyalla, I think, and he knew how to play the football from Whyalla, days in Whyalla. This was when I was only 14 or 15 years old. And he got Stevenard up to winning grand final after grand final. That went on for years. Yeah.
What was it like before that?
Pretty ordinary.
What did he do?
Who? Bobby Kavanagh. A bit of everything. Yeah, yeah. Jack of all trades. Yeah.
I mean, what did he do to make Stevenard great?
He just taught him how to play football, I think. Seriously.
Get them to take it seriously?
Well, not up until then, I don't think. But Stevenard took it pretty serious from the late 60s onwards. Yeah. And I always knew when I was playing football for Stevenard, if you shirked the issue out on the field, you were a wimp. No one told you, you just knew you were a wimp. And next week, B grade. So you always made sure you played, you went in hard every time, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No, we had, in that era, we had some very good players, depth of players. And that's why we're successful, because you haven't got depth. You find it very hard to win these sort of games of football.
Yeah, and then you had little Fabian Davey, you know, he was just exceptionally quick. He could do anything. He could turn you around pretty quickly. You want another coffee or something?
No, that's cool. That's great. But Fabian was a great player, and of course he was big. And he and Joe in that '89 team. I don't think the two of them actually played much after that. Well, he played in '89 obviously, but he wasn't playing in '91.
Yeah.
Joe was.
Yep. But he never played a lot of games for us. I don't know how many he did play, but Trevor and Roger played a lot.
Yeah, well, Trevor was fantastic in '91.
Oh, yeah. No, he played a lot and Roger played a lot too. Fabian Davey, he hit a bloke one day, hip and shoulder, it went whack. I never seen a bloke hit a bloke so hard. He didn't get up, but Fabian just ran off. He just caught him beautifully.
Because his nickname was what, Block?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
You might be Block of muscle and bone. Which is what, the Zone Championship in '89.
Oh, this is '89, okay.
You were involved at that stage?
I was, would have been a team manager then, I think, yeah.
course, look at Joey's little tag.
He was way ahead of his time, Joey. I remember a day at Port Lincoln, we played Whyalla, and Blot Davey, great footballer, but he'd been out a bit late, I think. And Joey got the ball, passed it off to him, Blot dropped it, and Joey got back into the pack, got it again, passed it on towards the goals, come back and grabbed him and said, "This is tough footy, you got to be on it, you know."
Here's what's saying?
Yeah, he just said, "It's really tough footy out here, you got to lift and get on, you know, or get off." And it wasn't long and the coach drug him anyway, but
Joe was a great leader.
Yeah, that's right. He was a elder amongst those group of people, a bit like Jack Johncock is now, and that.
Yes.
And yeah, they were great blokes.
And of course, won all those premierships.
Oh yeah.
And championships. But sorry, go on, Fabian.
Fabian used to like a cup of tea at half time.
Is that right?
2 or 3 sugars and a hot cup of milky tea. So my job as team manager was to run out and get him a cup of tea at half time. It was all right at Woodner, but it wasn't so easy at Glenelg.
True.
Nah.
But you managed somehow.
Yeah, you always got through. You'd know he'd want it, so you'd try and organise it earlier on in the day, yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Classic. But they were fantastic the way they worked together.
Yeah, and I think that's what happens sometimes. You get these guys that from clubs that know each other, and you know they just have a sense of understanding of what's going on.
Jerry Berger was a good player too.
Legend.
Yeah, he's great. And a good bloke too. I regard him one of the best players, country players I've seen really, because a lot of people don't see what Joey does. The little things. Little kick on along the ground, a little push out, all that sort of caper. And he does that very well. Brings other players into the game all the time.
Matthews, yeah. Played for a long time, didn't he?
He played a lot of EP footy clubs?
Yeah, I think 12 or 13 years, and captained quite a bit at the end. He was exceptional player, Clive. He was ahead of his time in passing off handballs and all that sort of thing. And sometimes the other players, especially at club level, weren't quick enough to made him look a bit silly because he'd handballed in the wrong place, but they should have been there.
If they just kept running,
it would have been all right.
Yeah. There's a real kind-cutter connection there.
Yeah.
With you and Madigan.
Number 22.
That's right.
Kicks the ball as well as player by himself in the centre of the ground.
Dad Len May and Henry McKenna were trainers in that period. So, and it was all run through the Leigh Hunt League at that time.
Really?
And then Port Lincoln took over, sort of, probably in the late 80s, early 90s.
With Mer Borden?
Yes, yeah. So that was a period where we run the accounts and everything for EP footy for quite some time.
On behalf of the people of Eyre Peninsula, I'd like to welcome the two leagues, the Stewart League and the Broken Hill Football League, here to Woodner. It's
but
terrific.
then it became too professional, and Lincoln had paid secretaries and treasurers, so old Theo Mastrosavas down there used to look after the pennies and count them up.
Great man.
Yeah.
Great character.
Well, congratulations, Ron. It's a wonderful win for Eyre Peninsula. Where do you think you won it?
Where we won it? Well, across centre, we had the ascendancy there all day with the three players across there, Neil Carr, Paul Warmington and Blue McKenna. The rucks, I think, got on top too. Like we had three big men that had the knock all day, so we got the ball out of centre.
And what about your Rovers?
The first 3 quarters, they played well. They died a little bit in the last quarter when Broken Hill did get a run on. Broken Hill used the ball pretty short all day, and I reckon that might have been their undoing on this ground here. And,
okay. I thought your Rovers today and your ruckman ran the ball exceptionally well, but you made some horrible mistakes up forward. You should have kicked a lot more goals.
Well, we should have kicked longer, more direct out of there. Yeah, we come out of the centre too short. We fell into Broken Hill's game a little bit, and we could have been down to the full forward area with Glenn Kelch, the big fella up there. But we're too slow getting it down there. We persevered with that short kick, and that possibly we could have scored a lot quicker.
And very quickly, can you give me your best?
Quickly, Kim Green I think was our best as a ruck follower. The half back line was good all day. Yeah, that and the centre line, I think. Right. Yeah.
And what about your best, John?
Well, not in any order because we've only just started to get our thoughts together. But I thought Peter McDonald at full-back on the big fella played particularly well, and
Johnsy.
Yeah, well, Peter Johns, I'm yet to see him play a bad one, so we take that for granted a bit. I thought that there were a lot of players in our side that were in and out of the game and had their moments. I thought Darren Tangi across half-back played very well. Right. Peter Johns and he, I thought, combined very well. I thought Neil Reaper in the first half was a great defender along with Peter McDonald. Right. But see, I'm talking all the defenders, and it's obvious that we're on the back pedal. There were some good running players up forward, but as I say, they only had their moments.
Okay, well, we've got a return match coming up next year at Broken Hill. You reckon the result can be reversed?
Well, we'd certainly like to think so, and we look forward to the return visit. I think it's good to reciprocate, and it's great for the players to have the experience of playing away.
Right.
Our ground's not as wide as this, and it's, I think, a little bit softer after running on it this morning, but the return game will be interesting. Right. We look forward to that.
Excellent. You're looking forward to it, Ron?
Oh, so we will, yes. Yep. None of the players would have went up to Broken Hill, I wouldn't think so, so we'll be really looking forward to the return match.
Okay. Well, thank you both, gentlemen, and that's the completion of the Eyre Peninsula match between Eyre Peninsula and Broken Hill with a 6-6 win to Eyre Peninsula.
Obviously the footballers are the most important, but it took a good team effort to get the footballers there at the right time, and yeah.
Bloke who could play.
Yeah.
But look at that, you got John Humphreys to Joe Burgoyne to Barry Hutchins.
Barry Hutchins, wasn't he? Yeah. Great cricketer as well, Barry.
I think he played state country cricket.
Yeah. Little bloke behind him wasn't bad either. Little Bucky Bank.
So, yeah. Oh, Bucky. Yeah. They probably would have played juniors together at Wadaki, probably.
Fair chance.
Yeah, before Bucky came over to Conncutter.
Yeah. Barry's still there, as far as I know. Lives not very far from the Wadaki club roads. Farms there.
Lex to go long into the centre area, into David Harvey, but good strong mark in front by Barry Hutchins.
I think I was involved in 28 games, and only lost 6.
That was my introduction to Eyre Peninsula football that day.
Who?
I was very impressed. That was my introduction to Eyre Peninsula football.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. 1989, so I just started at the Lincoln Times and I was doing all their footy. So.
Yep.
So you got Ron Coshin there too.
He was coach of that side.
Yeah. Ron coached for quite some time and he was brilliant. In fact, he played a lot before, obviously, and he played against Port Adelaide at Woodner. And they were touching Port up a bit. And I forget who the coach was, somebody from Lincoln of the EP side, who suggested that the crowd come to watch Port Adelaide, not you blokes, that you better step down a bit. Well, Ron said they went out and he got back on the field, and he said to the boys, let's give these blokes a towel, and so they did, went ahead and belted Port Adelaide in that game. He said, fancy telling you a mob of country blokes to lay down and let somebody beat them. Oh. But yeah, went on and coached the side for a long time.
Rambler man.
Yeah. Back in that day, Broken Hill, they only had the 4 sides, but it was a very good standard of comp, you know, and but anyway, we got over them, and you know, we had a hell of a time, and there was a lot of bonding that went on because it wasn't just the party after the game. I think my memory was there were $3 jugs of beer. It's hard to imagine in this day and age when it's more than that for one beer, but we partied together, and then you know, we came home, and then we went on the bus the next day for 13 hours, and so yeah, it was a fun time. Tom Tierney was on that trip. He was one of the selectors there, and
he's a bit of a legend, isn't he?
He was.
Bit of a Mortlot legend.
Yeah, and also a local footy club legend, because he played, you know, well into his late 50s, I reckon, and maybe
for Tumby.
Yeah, for Tumby, yeah. And so, yeah.
Tumby Tom or something he was called. Right?
That's right, and he's been on a few fishing shows. You've seen him with
no, I haven't.
Tony Lockett and people like that. So, yeah.
Has he? Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, he talks about catching whiting. But I think that, for me, that was the long trip that cemented that bond. We also played cards on the way up on the bus, 13 hours, you know, so you get to know each other pretty well, and there's a bit of ribbing going on. And by the end of it, you know everyone pretty well. And then you come home on the bus, well, it's a party on the way home, but that goes on. It's the one that keeps giving.
Yeah.
And so
87 really sort of...
Yeah, I reckon Gilda just knitted that group of players in the group I'm talking about, you know. And I remember Don McSweeney and I guess the hierarchy of EP, the Mastrosavas from Port Lincoln, Theo, who was a big sponsor and part of it, part of the Port Lincoln Footy League. And they all set up the bus, and I don't think they looked around because there was a lot of stuff happening down the back of the bus. It was pretty funny. It was pretty bloody funny, yeah. And drinking beer and gee. But
what was Don like on those trips? Because he loved the footy and the whole thing. Did he get involved in, or did he just set up the front and sort of let him get on with it?
I think his boss kept him in line a bit, you know.
Yeah,
I think there was a part of him that would have liked to get back and join in and be young.
Because he was a good footballer. Yeah, he would have.
Yeah, he would have liked to be involved, and as any old footballer does, you know, there's a kind of, you never leave that behind. You always want to join in a bit and be part of it. So yeah.
He was great though, Don, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was, you know, he masterminded and had a lot to do with the structure within EP footy and all of that stuff. And that time he, you know, had a lot of say about who took on what roles. You know?
Of course, he was farmer, Don.
Yeah.
That Cummins, obviously.
Yeah. He's done a lot of he was a shearer for a long time, apparently. And he used to lump wheat too, back in the bag days, at the sidings, apparently.
That old leg of his. Yeah.
What do you do to that?
I'm not sure. It happened earlier on, and he's always at an angle, but I'm not sure whether he did it in football or not. Way before my time, of course.
Yeah, well, he had a rigorous life. So.
He lumped wheat, you know, with the Cronin boys, and they had lots of the stacks from Ulana right through all the southern end of Eyre Peninsula. Tough, hard-working bugger he was. And I just don't know how he managed to put together his time as EP zone rep and attending all the meetings and all that. You wouldn't have said he was a real wealthy man, but he found the time to be able to put into it. And I think somebody was going to take over from him once, and they wanted to know how much he was paid, and he said, well, I get my phone calls paid and about $200 travel a year. Of course, the other bloke wasn't interested after that. And he run the show like, I was team manager, but I had very little to do because Don would have it all organised prior to. And all I had to do was the team sheets and make sure the Guernseys were right and all that sort of thing. But great times.
Great man. Great couple.
Yeah, and I think combined there with blokes like Gug Chandler and Madigan and that as selectors, Don McSweeney obviously was a great man, and they got people to really want to play football for Eyre Peninsula, and that's when the turnaround happened, and they were really successful over that period of time.
Well, because he really was. I mean, Merv Borden was great in Port Lincoln.
Yeah, Merv was on that trip, I think. So
yeah, and he was terrific. But Don was really like he was so energetic. He was so into it, and he was. Well, I was just a kid at the Port Lincoln Times, and he was in my ear probably 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah,
just
feeding information.
Feeding another idea, just trying to get another. He just kept at it.
Yeah, promoting footy, I think, would have been, he's very good at promotional stuff and stuff like that. And, I think Don appointed Ron Coffin. Ron really gifted me the EP coaching job, and he said, here, you take it.
Nice.
Yeah, and he's a champion, Ron. He just the way he spoke to people and the respect that, I think the respect that he showed players, and the players respected him, he was a great fella.
Where's he from?
He's from Ramblers, that he was one of those guys that played in, people talk about different clubs and in our club, 700, we played in 31 or 2 consecutive grand finals. These guys won 15 grand finals in a row, there's a little group of them. So, sometimes success is all relative to someone else's success. So if people start talking about eras and exceptional eras that would have to be in that side in that time, winning 15 premierships in a row, and the fact that it was a very good standard of football. They had 8 teams,
Well, look, I said there was only one way to go, and that's to run the ball. We've got to go short. Every time we went long down the forward line, they just marked everything inside. And we've got to wake up. Every time we move the ball, and even if it's only bloody 30 yards to somebody out in the open, they're bloody flounders. They're gone.
And then you've got to give our backmen something to kick to when we come out of our back line. You've got to come back so we've got something to kick to. A lot of times the half back line had nothing to kick to. It looked as though they just played, but there was nowhere else to kick to. The half back line has got to be able to have someone to kick to when they come out of there. Else we're just kicking the ball, punch straight away, and there was a possession again. So as soon as that half back line Rovers, I'm mainly looking at Fabian and Tosser. When we come out of the half back line, you've got to come up there so that punch goes to ground, and our Rovers are there to swoop on that. Got to work. You've got to be fucking playing with it. Come on, worth it, fellas.
Come on, fellas. It's going to be worth it if we win. Come on.
We did it well, you guys. Top it. Thank you.
Well done, Ron.
Well done, Sheik. Good answer. Good match. Well done, Sheik. Top effort this evening. Well done, Dick. Good play, David. Good on you, mate. Good on you. Your effort, mate. Good on you, Kenny. Good on you. Well held. Top back all day. Well done, Jim. Really credit to you. That's a hard job to get well. Tell me
Talking about John Humphreys.
John, yeah, very talented footballer, John. His record would stand for himself at Dark Peak and that. And at this level, he was play at centre half forward and dominate.
John was bloody just so strong, clean, centre half forward.
How many state titles EP win? They won in '89.
So EP won many of the games through that time. We had one bad year. Now I'm trying to think of the year. We took a side to Gawler, and it was 40 kilometre-hour winds, and it's still to this day the tallest side that I've ever played in. We had Clem Fitzgerald, Rexy Eats, you know, and we had all of these guys. Joe Darlitz, I think Uvi played. We had all these really tall guys, you know. I think we had 14 guys at around about 6'3" to 5", and we came across a really windy day, and so you just, you know, there's nothing in the air. You know, but you go for a mark and it'll land 20 metres behind you, and so you just needed the quick legs, you know, and so we got towed up a bit, and I spoke with Glenn Chandler, wasn't the EP selector at the time, but I was talking with Glenn around this, and just said, look, we need to pick a bit more balance, and we need to think we need to be thinking about picking sides for occasion. If you want to be successful, you know, on a calm day, that side probably would have dominated. You just play kick to kick. You had that many tall players, but on that and in those conditions, you were playing basically 3 or 4 players short. So. Because the tall guys are out of the game, you know, with that much wind, and
that's the year we had the selector from each league. And everyone's taught, all the selectors are there, and they're all yabbering. You can't sort of work things out properly,
and you end up with compromises.
Yeah, that's right. I'll never forget that. But then after that, they got back to 3 again. I still believe you can have too many selectors.
Yeah.
3's enough. If you can get the right people.
But not so much picking on just on pure merit on who should be an EP player.
That's right.
Pick a team for the occasion.
Well, and about team balance, I talked about balance. You actually need mostly runners. You know, you will see that now in the AFL, that, you know, the tall guys are all athletic now. You know what I mean? Right. But you only need a few of them. You know, you just need those linchpins in a sense, and then the rest of the team, you know, can run. And for that reason, we used Mick Baldock and Gonzo McKenna as our ruckman, you know, in the EP, and I remember them rucking against Big Maxie Parker, who played, you know, 200 or so league games. Now, at the centre bounce, it was kind of nullified because they were running and jumping on him, you know, so they won as good. But after the ball hit the ground, we had an extra player, you know, they were one short because Big Maxie was the old lumbering ruckman, you know, very good player, by the way, but you know, this is this thinking in football that you need to be mobile as well. You know, you don't know. I don't know that the galloping gazometer Mick Nolan would play in the AFL anymore.
No, probably not.
Fella, you know, he's, but in that time, you know, they existed. So I think it's a move to having players that can run and, you know, and be there. And Gonzo, you know, he was a great player, just hard at it.
Across the half-back line. Gummy, looking further afield.
Well, you're going back to Gonzo here, is it?
You must have much offering up forward.
Yeah, a bit of Gonzo, he was a tough man.
Yeah. The only time he wore boots was when he was playing football.
Sorry?
The only time Gonzo wore shoes or boots was when he was playing football. He'd bare feet all the time.
Just as tough as nails. And
Coin cutter.
Yeah, coin cutter boys.
That's it.
Yeah.
They're pretty hard.
Well, he tried to, at Richard Horgan's wedding at Coin Cutter, he tried to hook onto my caravan in the middle of the night and tow me around the Oval. Gonzo, I won't let him forget. But luckily I'd locked my car in front of it, so he couldn't get on, but he was trying to get the tow bar on. He was going he woke up in about 4 in the morning being towed around Coin Cutter Oval.
Which would have been terrific for everyone else. Yeah.
Would have been funny for Gonzo.
SAFA playing around with the ball a bit there.
Looking for Talbot.
Oh,
Good mark.
Great mark, McKenna.
But Mick Baldock, Wheeler?
This is Norton against Baldock. Baldock again, down to McGowan. Clever play. He's played well.
Good pass.
Good pass into Tom Phelps. 40 metres out, right in front of goal.
A very good player, Mip, you know.
Wheeler fella?
Wheeler fella, yeah, a very good player, Mip.
Troy, back to Clint, back to brother Clint. In turn, up to the half-forward area.
Contested there, right off the back of the pack by Nev Hire. He gets a handball out quickly in the direction of Brett O'Brien. Brett O'Brien, another handball over the top to Gonzo. Gonzo cops one high, moves the ball on quickly in the direction of Trev May. There's a great mark taken there by Mib Bulldog. Mib.
And also very mobile too, you know, like, you know, Gonzo could have played centre half forward, centre half back. Mip could have played centre half back, full back. You know, these guys were that sort of versatile, I think.
They could have both done that too. They weren't very big for ruckman.
But they had a bit of leap on them.
They had a lot going for them, yeah. A lot of determination. Gonzo was anyway.
Parker against McKenna. McKenna wins it. It goes to Barossa. He dropped the ball. Handballed out to Ma. Ma down to the centre area. Here's Phelps.
Fearless.
I remember one of the finals in that late 80s period at Footy Park. Gonzo was that sore he couldn't train leading up to the final. And one of the guys around came and said, "Oh, I don't reckon we should be playing him, like he's too sore." And I just said, "Look, let him get on the ground, you'll be right, he'll do his job." Well, he played the same, him and Mib Baldock rucked hard and give us the edge to win that bloody final. I think it was about 89-90 period, but yeah, very tough. You wouldn't leave him out even if he was on one leg.
Welcome to Football Park this afternoon for the final of the Foundation Cup between Eyre Peninsula and Barossa and Light. Umpires Kavanagh and Schramm. Fine day, not much breeze. Should see a lot of skills. McKenna in ruck for Eyre Peninsula. Umpire Kavanagh bounces the ball. Up goes McKenna. Can't knock it away cleanly. Out come Barossa. Scrambly play. Out to Phelps. He gets tackled. Scrambly ball in there.
What about Mick Baldock?
Baldock could jump. He could fly up. He was only built like that too, but he got above the body.
Obviously, both of them played a fair few years.
Oh, he did.
It's the '96 grand final.
Yeah. He played. They rucked together for quite a few years.
Because they were playing EP back in what, '89 and maybe previous.
Mib Baldock was a tremendous player. His tap work rucking was as good as I'd seen anywhere. I reckon. It was elite level. He was a little bit like Peter Carey from Glenelg, the way he could tap the ball. I remember playing a couple of rep games, and yeah, gee, he was good, Mib Baldock. By far the best bloody ruckman I'd ever rove to.
But we were able to ruck them and have sort of a dual-edged, you know, player that can ruck but can also be a ground player, you know. So that helps, I think. Yeah.
This will be umpire Schramm. Norton against Baldock. Baldock wins a ruck. Good ruck down to Hutchins. He drives to half forward.
Because it was structured a little bit differently in '89 to what it was after that, wasn't it?
That's right, because then they decided they would play it off, the two zones off, over 2 years. So
whereas '89 was just over the
just the northern zone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when
it came down to that big weekend sort of thing.
And then I think after '92, it wasn't long then they shifted to that weekend carnival where they played, you know, went up the River.
Which they do now.
Yeah. And so they play shorter games. And I have to say I have been out of touch with it since that's happened, you know. I guess if I knew it was on here in the city, I'd go and have a look at it, you know.
Very strong competition in those years, in the early 90s. It was a good competition, very good. And we won, I reckon we won 4 championships.
You certainly did. Yeah, well, tell me about that, because that's...
But it was an interesting time because it was the first time that the SANFL played off the two zones. You know, we were the northern zone, and the southern zone included the Mount Gambier teams and all that. So Carey Naracoorte was a strong league. So and they also included SAFA at that time, were a very strong comp.
3 SAFA players out there. Eyre Peninsula into attack, but there's no one home. Peake's kicked up 3 kicks in the last 5 minutes. He's come into the game well, and that was Grigg on the left leg, and he scored a goal.
Excellent.
Well done.
Tap down then by.
Yeah, so they weren't too shabby, the old SAFA.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was back when SAFA was on TV.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's right.
So they were professionals.
Oh, yeah, they were. Barossa Light were very strong. Southern District was very strong.
And the Barossa Light and Gawler were. So what ended up happening is, I think Carey Naracoorte,
goal to Eyre Peninsula. Good play, Marty Mark.
That league down that played Barossa Light and Gawler on the Saturday at one oval, and we played SAFA at Alberton on that day. But it's not the Alberton Oval that we know today, which is just like a bowling green. It was all green and
it was wet.
Yeah, it was wet. It bucketed down in the second quarter, and the cricket pitch has always been mud, and I played there for a few years, so you got to know that it was just going to be black mud all day. But yeah, we
and then you backed up for another game the following day.
Exactly, and we'd all caught the bus on Thursday. We'd driven, 800 kilometres if you're from Ceduna on Thursday. We'd only arrived Thursday night on the bus, and so people were a bit stiff. But but one of the things that happened was that at half time, Ray Wotherston, who was the selector, along with Madigan Sampson, spoke to me and said, watch out with these SAFA umpires, because what they'll do is they'll bring out a new ball at half time. And the game was such that it was so windy in the first quarter that I played Barry Hutchins loose in defence and ran back. So we virtually had 2 loose in defence, and we allowed our, Joe Burgoyne and Fabian Davey to run forward, very clever people to run forward. So so that was the first quarter, and we done reasonably well. We held them because it was a significant win. But in the second quarter, it just bucketed down. It was just one of those days where the clouds just dropped everything they had on you, and you're just slipping and sliding. And then at half time, well, the weather cleared up again, you see. So, and the umpires had a new ball, and Ray had said to me, watch out, they'll bring out the new ball. And so I went over to them at half time, and I just said, we don't want that ball. And they looked at me kind of, what do you mean? No one, because I was a captain, had the number 1. And I said, well, we only tossed once, so you don't get a new ball every time, And I said, and that's all I said. We only toss once, and you only win it once. And so I indicated that basically you shouldn't get a second bite of the cherry. And the umpire just said to me, well, what about 3/4 time? Well, and at that point I was the only person in the middle talking to the umpies, and it just seemed like to the outside a bit of a casual conversation. I just said, oh, well, if that's what you want to do, basically.
When they agreed, that's when we had a fresh ball. we were in strife, and we ended up winning the game.
Just snuck home.
Because of the dry ball. Very smart move.
Came straight at the body, spoiled him.
That was Darrington. Nobody going up for SAFA.
McKenna comes through strongly, takes the ball over. This is Horgan. Handballs backwards. Clements kicks in the centre half forward area.
Darrington falls over at full back there for SAFA. And that
John Humphries off the ground. Great try. Goes through for 1 point. 1 point closer. 5-8 to play 5-11.
And so all through the third quarter, when SAFA were going with the wind again, they've got this heavy, and it was just a K. Had the black Alberton mud all over it, and you could kick, if you got onto it, you could kick it 40 metres with the wind, And so yeah, they slogged it out, and then in the last quarter they switched the ball and gave us the new ball, and now we're going with the wind, and I'm going, thank you very much. It was a howling northerly, by the way, which is unusual.
5-6, SAFA 5-11.
Well, Marty, you always had tricks, didn't he?
Sorry?
Well, Marty always had little tricks up his sleeve. That's just about cheating, that one.
2 elementary errors cost SAFA 2 goals. And that's exactly what he said at half-time. He said, you can't afford the elementary errors. That was what cost them the goals, and I would say that Eyre Peninsula would be favourites to win at this point in time, with the scoreboard reading the way it is, John.
Yeah, just watching the windsock over next to the scoreboard. It's swirling around a lot and favouring the bowling club end to an extent. Eyre Peninsula Marty Marr would have just told him to keep working the ball like he did at half-time then. Try and get the ball clean, be prepared to use the handball. Good chance for Eyre Peninsula to win this match. Must work hard. Quick goal will be very, very important for Eyre Peninsula.
And away we went. I think we ended up winning by about 19 or 20 points after being, down really for the whole game.
With the scores level right up until end of normal time. I think it was pretty much only an extra time that you kicked away.
Yeah, we just got on top of them. Yeah.
I think it was Horgan.
Yeah, Richard Horgan, yeah.
Horgan kicked the goal that put you in front.
Yeah.
And I reckon that came just before or just after regulation time.
Yeah, sure.
Can't mark it, SAFA. Here's a chance for Proctor down the centre area. Out the back, Johncock should mark this. Here's a chance for Eyre Peninsula going cleanly. Proctor running down the ground. Calling for it, Saunders. Great mark by Hutchins. One-hander running backwards into the play.
Too far out to score, but there's another lead on.
He likes a shot at goal.
I think that's McGowan going down long. And he's marked. Oh!
Umpire a bit hesitant then, but he did pay the SAFA for a mark.
Darrington's in trouble here. Coburn, Morgan cleaning up. Oh, three.
Good work by Johncock then to stop that ball. Kept it in the area. It's out clean.
Oh,
great
top tackle by the Eyre Peninsula player and a throw-up. Well, we're looking at the 20-minute mark, John.
Right in front of the scoreboard. Eyre Peninsula's end. Dribbled out by Eyre Peninsula.
Oh, good clearing handball. Carter looking down for... Well, he was looking for Pearson, but he found Collins. Haven't seen much of this player today. Collins looking for Sanderson. Couldn't find him. 60-metre mark. This will be Pearson contesting. He's done good work in the ruck when it's been down here.
This quarter's a lot like that second quarter.
Got it again. Good handball off. Out of bounds on the full.
Pause to bring it in.
Chance for Eyre Peninsula to clear now. You've got to run it forward quickly. Taverner to contest from behind.
Charlton
Great mark.
Strong mark, Charlton. He can go into the half-forward area. Long kick in the half-forward area. Phelps is there in front. McGowan stays down. He'll get the ball, a handball away. On quickly. Horgan. Down in front of Rule.
That's going to have to beat them to the ball here.
Well done, Rule. Pushed him out. Got the ball clean.
Oh, here's a chance.
Johncock. This is danger for SAFA. He's going to run right into an open goal. Over to Horgan. Horgan must score a goal there. Eyre Peninsula hit the front for the first time.
Well, Eyre Peninsula have hit the front for the first time in the game. And it's the 21-minute mark of the last quarter. Now that spells danger for SAFA because it's going to be very... What's there been? 11 goals scored for the game.
That was good work by Darren Rule in to hold that ball in and get it back out quickly. Johncock ran on quickly and Horgan came past for the handball. Eyre Peninsula, can that lift them to get another quick goal? Be very handy.
And Richard was a great player. He's won medals in a lot of leagues and coached at Tumby and had a lot to do with the Port Lincoln Footy League. And we're very lucky that he came and played with us at Thevenard because he'd played a lot of reserve footy at Port Adelaide. He was just a polished, skilled player and a good ball reader and a good ball user, and those are invaluable people, And Rick McGowan also played in that side. He went on to play five premierships for Central, so he was only a young bloke then. And but he was just he could find the ball and strong over the ball and so
in the wet he was terrific.
Yeah, and they're just a good ball user and just ran to all the right spots.
Halfway through the first quarter, looking for Carter.
Up over the back bulldog. Here's Ricky McGowan, chips in.
Taken by Wilson. Wilson in the back pocket. He'll look to drive wide, does so, looking for Dittmar. Over his head, Talbot at least.
Over the back, McGowan read that a lot better than the SAFA player. Kicks in short to Phelps. He takes a strong mark.
How did he end up going to Centrals anyway, not Port?
Well, they did a deal. They paid for him. You know, back then it was about $5,000, I think. So Port said, well, you know, you're just a sort of an ordinary midfielder, you know, just an average midfielder. We've got plenty of them. So he went across to Centrals and ended up playing in all those premierships. And Alistair Clarkson, of course, is one of his very good friends. So then he went, after he left Sturt in 2008, in 2009 he went as an assistant coach to Hawthorn, so with Clarkey. So,
there you go.
But the Sunday of that EP game was interesting. We had a great team meeting, and sometimes, you know, I just said, well, we need to have a little bit of a run to run a bit of the soreness out, because we had to play again on the Sunday at Footy Park, as it was then, and it was a curtain raiser to the Essendon Crows game, 48,000 people. And so we had a bit of a run and a bit of a talk, and I just said to the players that I'd done a bit of homework. A couple of my mates actually were playing for Barossa and Gawler. Johnny Cunningham, who I played with at West Torrens, JC, great fella and good, you know, good player. And I said to our boys, I said, these guys get a lot of money. You know, most of the EP guys, as you know, we're not paid big bucks over there, whereas some of their players could have been on as much as 1,000 a game.
So they were?
Yeah.
I'm from the Barossa, they were.
Or more, and I said, look, these guys they're here playing an association game, but next week they want to get their money again. So I said, just make this really intense. Like every time we go at the ball, let's just go really hard at the ball. And if you watch that game, you'll see that we go, and you see after a time they actually start to step back.
Kick and smothered by Barossa. Now they've got a chance to go in cleanly. He doesn't like the player coming at him. Well, this is what Eyre Peninsula have got to do. Lyle Phelps clears now up to the wing. John Cock in front, should take the mark, does so. He'll play on quickly. Drives up the half-forward area. Jeffrey Phelps there. Over to his brother Tom Phelps. He chips in with the right leg. Rule pushes out the Barossa player. He's going to beat them out over the boundary line. Well, you can see a few Barossa fellas now starting to lift their eyes. Don't like the body coming at them.
They step back and let our guys take the ball.
You're right, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, so that was a really critical thing, but that wasn't the big rev up. It was just right, that was our strategy. We're just going to make this a really tough game. We're going to grind game, you know, and...
He elects to go for a handball. Good work by Clements. Strong work, but picks it up, drives in the full forward area. Both players fall over. Pushed out again. You see then, Fred, the hard tackling, and if you keep running at the player, you will spoil them.
Yeah, good work by Clements there.
Brosnan might drive it up to the wing now. Pedler here, he should mark this. No, misses the ball. Mars in there hard. Can't take it. A lot of hard body work going in there now.
And Gonzo McKenna was one of our ruckmen. He's as tough as nails, and you know, a great player, good in the air, but also then you had an extra player on the ground. But one of the trainers, and I forget which one, I said, does anybody else want to have something to say? And I can't remember who the trainer was, but he got up and he just spoke this country bloke footy talk that just revved everyone up. You could just see they're all fired up now, and it was sort of like, thanks, you know, from my point of view, someone's done what the coach wants to do. He wants to get everybody fired up and playing their best footy. So, you know, he did a great job.
Great, fantastic.
And we went on and cleaned them up, I think 6-12 in that game.
Out to Dick Clements, should clear cleanly. Out to Boxer. Boxer drives it down the wing. Marr in the race for the ball. Oh, a good bump by the Barossa, but both fellows go down. He's tackled. Umpire couldn't see it. Marr picks the ball up, chips on his left. Round at Jeffrey Phelps. He should take that mark, and he has done so with 2 grabs. Drives down to Rule again. He needs backup. The little men have got to try and get down there. Traps the ball well. Gets a kick around the goal. And here, Saunders can't take the ball. Well done by that Barossa player. Drives out in the scoreboard side wing. That's the end of the quarter. Eyre Peninsula 2-5, lead Barossa and Light 1-2.
And really by the third quarter, I guess in particular, it's like you're all dead on your feet, but the EP boys are just going straight in after the footy, and the Barossa boys are just a half a step to the side, and it's just...
And it's contagious. I've always believed that's contagious in footy. If one guy in your team steps out or shirks an issue, then everyone says, well, if he's not going to put in, what am I going to put in?
You can just see it fall apart, and they lost easily in the end.
Yeah, we got right on top of them. And you remember they had 13 ex-league players in their squad, and we only probably had a couple, you know, so...
Yeah. Mind you, it was a pretty good team.
Oh, well, some of those guys went on, like Rick went on to play, you know, and a lot of league games. And
when we went over and played like 3 full games in like 4 days, that was really hard on, especially on country footballers that are not training like league footballers and things.
And have driven a long way to get there as well.
That's right, yeah.
But go on.
Out of, you know, strange surroundings, strange beds and all that sort of thing.
But a true test of their mettle.
Yeah. I remember the Quit Country Championships, as it was called, there at Football Park one year, and obviously didn't like anybody smoking. Well, Don McSweeney smoked, Ron Coff was the coach, Ian Darlitz was the runner, and Madigan and Goog they were all in the dugout, and the whole bloody lot of them were having a smoke, and the photo was taken with this smoke billowing out of the box at Football Park.
One-on-one, Rules in the race for the ball. Kicks it off the ground. Oh, it's hit the post on the other side, the point post. Have to be out of bounds on the full. Good strong body work, Darren Rule then. With the player out the road.
21-minute mark, and EP still lead by 14 points, but they're not capitalising on the amount of play they've had.
No, finding it hard to get a goal, Fred. Here's a chance for Ma. He's a cheeky little fellow he is.
Short, Barry Hutchins. This has been well in his distance, 45 metres.
Yeah, he loves these shots for goal, Fred.
Usually a long, accurate kick.
Kicked 20 goals in one game last year, this fella. Should know where they are. It's a beautiful looking kick off the boot, and there's no doubt about it. He's a good kick for goal. That puts Eyre Peninsula 7-8 to Barossa and Light 4-6.
Yes, took a long time to get that goal, Joe. 22-minute mark.
Badly needed goal for him.
Had some champion players, Barry Hutchins and...
well, don't people want to keep won that one with John Humphreys and
John
Barry Hutchins
Humphreys.
both in the team?
Yeah.
In fact, I remember...
A couple of good players.
A couple of good players.
Really good, yeah. Yeah, not much better than them.
He could play both ends, yeah.
And then he switched and played forward and kicked a lot of goals.
Yeah, and then he ruck followed. Pretty versatile.
Played everywhere except ruck.
Yep, well, he could have done that too. Because he could jump a bit.
Baldock High, Taverner wins the mark. Oh, it's hard. Scrambly stuff in the middle there. It's a bog. SAFA coming out with the ball. Kicked up high. Pedler back there. Hawes against Sanderson. Sanderson can't mark. All Eyre Peninsula. Chandler tries to kick it off the ground. Can't do so. Proctor in over the ball. He could get holding the ball here, and he has done. He should have knocked it out. SAFA with a kick in. Riding 50 metres out. A lot of pushing and shoving going there. Big punch away by Charlton. It's run out over the boundary.
Well, that's where Eyre Peninsula needed it, because it's certainly the danger zone. We're looking at the 23-minute mark of the quarter. There can't be any more than 5 or 6 minutes to play. Boundary throw in, Sanderson in front.
Baldock up high, takes it away. This is Horgan. He'll get a clean kick at it. Down to Eyre Peninsula's wing.
It's out of bounds on the full though. So SAFA will have to drive it forward quickly, but all leads are covered. No. There's Gibbs. Gibbs will look to drive it straight into centre half forward. Looking for Tangazik. Oh, great attempt for a mark then. Would have been a good mark on a dry day.
Here's John Cock. He'll get a kick at it. Pretty quick, dodges around one SAFA player. Chips in to Maher in the centre. Maher goes down to centre half forward. He's looking for McGowan. Out strongly comes Rule, takes it up cleanly. Dodges one player. Gets around on the left. There's only one player down, that's Saunders. He comes out, tackles. It's tackled. McGowan over the top to Lyle Phelps, and he's going to run into an open goal. Great handball onto Hutchins, and that's another goal for Eyre Peninsula.
And that's the ball game, there's no doubt about that. With only 12 goals scored for the game, Eyre Peninsula have gone 9 points clear, and without any shadow of doubt, John, mate, you're at Football Park tomorrow.
Well, that'll give them a great lift after a great running goal like that. They've worked hard all day. I thought they played better when they're kicking against it than SAFA. SAFA tried to work the ball up along the flank in front of us here. But Eyre Peninsula are back with a vengeance. Jeffrey Phelps in hard then, can't get the ball out. SAFA come out with the ball now. Well done, Taverner, handball on. Back again, one of them lost the ball. Good work by Beard. Down by Baldock, McGowan there, bounces over the top of him. Ball still there. In comes Horgan off the ground. Well done. Out comes Rule. Can't take the
up
ball.
by Darrington on to Carter.
Here's Peake. He'll mark it and take a run. He's fast. Up here in front, Pedler, and he should take that mark. Good strong mark. Right in front of the commentary box. Eyre Peninsula don't want to be too quick here. Can slow it down a bit. 25 minutes in. Good kick by Pedler. He's looking for Maher, his captain. Sorry, that was McGowan. Ball coming back into the centre. Good tackle by Chandler. Maher with a kick at the ball now. Drives it into full forward area. Rule up in front and a great mark taken. 40 metres out on a slight angle. He plays full forward locally for Port Lincoln, this fellow. Kicked 60 or 70 goals this year. So he is able to kick the goal. He'll make the distance. Accuracy will be the only thing. Comes in. It's a good looking kick.
Touched.
Goal. Umpire's paid it a goal. That's another one to Eyre Peninsula. We didn't quite know then. He was very still, the umpire. Well, I think that Dallas, that should be the ball game now. A bit low to say it just before, but I think now they've got a good clear break. With 8 goals 12 to 5 goals 15.
Yes, John, 26-minute mark and 2 goals 3 clear. That's enough for you. And the only thing that will take its toll now from you winning at Football Park tomorrow in front of that big game, the Crows versus the Essendon, would be your injuries, and they'd be your only major problem.
Yeah, so I've seen John Humphreys go off, and I don't like that. He was limping with the ankle a bit. Hopefully it's not bad, because he's our full forward. SAFA back now. Chip it out to the wing. In the chase for it, Clements. Rui copped one up high. Good tackle there. SAFA down into their forward area. Eyre Peninsula want to keep working hard here. Out Hawes, he's a long way out. Tackles Greg. Pearson, I mean. There's Charlton, and he's going to clear for Eyre Peninsula. Phelps in front here. Takes a good strong mark. Oh, he cops one around high near the 50 metres here. He's going to get 50 metres. Well, we all saw that, Dallas.
Oh, no doubt about it. I thought a couple could have been played earlier in the game too. And I thought SAFA's endeavour to hold earlier in the game could have cost them a little bit, but it's taken until now. I don't think it's going to have any effect on the game at all, because we're looking at the 27-minute mark. He'll drive it into the goal square from there, and I think that's just about the penny section anyway.
Well, he's right in front, right on the 50-metre mark. Phelps comes in. He's a big kick. He'll drive it right into the goal square. It's a great kick right in the goal square. In front was Rule, but it got punched away. Goes out over the boundary line, right in front of the cricket pitch. Eyre Peninsula looking good now. Time running out for SAFA. 27.5 minutes. Must be no more than 3 minutes left. Ball comes in. Phelps in there against Taverner. Taverner again wins the ruck. Maher trying to shepherd out. Horgan can't pick it up. Lyle Phelps in there. Gets a chip kick. Hard work. Here's 2 players. Horgan chips around the body. Who's home? And a great mark taken by Rule. Great mark in front. Good work by Horgan. Then chipped around the body. Back into the right area. And Rule in front. Able to mark it on his chest. And diving mark. He's got another set shot for goal. less than 20 metres out on a 45-degree angle. As I said before, he's got 60 goals odd this year already. Missed a few vital ones with those.
He's got that one.
Over. Umpire's confident. Goal umpire's confident. That's another goal there. And there it goes. Eyre Peninsula have won. Well, I thought they deserved to win. They played a bit harder work today and worked hard against the wind. Terrific play by Jeffrey Phelps. I thought he was just about have to be best on ground.
Oh, without a doubt. Yes, his marking was excellent. He created a position there that SAFA couldn't have any answer for, and without a doubt, you guys deserve to be at Football Park tomorrow. All the best, John. Hope you get up, mate.
Thanks,
and
Dallas.
Without knowing the result of the other game, I think the boys are looking forward to it.
Yeah, they'll be very happy players, and they worked hard as a team today, patted each other on the back when something happened, and that's what it's about. I thought Big Taverner played well for SAFA, worked hard all day. Peake didn't do a lot, didn't see much of him. John Humphries, I see him, he's our full forward there, limping badly. Might be struggling to play tomorrow, but at least we're there, we've given ourselves a chance. Our little fellas came into the game a bit more. Mark fell out of it a bit in the second half, I thought, but still valuable. Joey Burgoyne, valuable goals there, very valuable goals. He kicked 3 goals. Darren Rule, after a couple of bad mistakes early, came back and kicked a couple of goals. Stopped one there out near the scoreboard and let Eyre Peninsula get in front with that one running goal. It was good work. Here's Marty Marr. He's very happy. Very happy. So we're down there, and it's giving ourselves another chance at Footy Park tomorrow, and that'll be the final of the country championships.
Well, I just remember going back to the Footy Park game that Peter Beard from Lock played in.
Oh, Pedro, wow.
Peter Beard, good strong tackle then. Marr chasing this player.
Yeah, good tackle, mate.
Beard, well done.
Beard backed up
Eyre
well.
Peninsula.
Short
chip into Proctor. That's good eyes, Peter
well done,
Beard.
Peter. It's 35 metres, so he's well in range. You can have a shot here.
Peter Beard and Marr then 3-on-2, and they beat them. Good pressure.
That was real desperation stuff for those two players.
That's what wins these games, Fred. Now here's Proctor coming in, 30 metres out, slight angle. Missed his last one.
Good kick off the boot.
He hasn't missed that one. That's a goal to Eyre Peninsula. That takes them to 10 to 5, 9. It'll be hard for Barossa and Light to get back now, Fred.
Yeah, that could be the one the EP needed. That's a 25-point break.
Did he play?
Yeah, so, you know, and so again, Peter, you know, we played he could have played centre-half back or full-back, but we played him in a back pocket for a while, and then and Madigan Sampson, you know, basically we had a really good understanding, and Madigan's such a clever fellow with footy thinking, you know, he's a sharp brain, and he can spot something and go, well, we're going to change that, you know, and in that game, one of the reasons that we got on top is he threw Pedro forward into the forward pocket. We just needed a bit more grunt in there, and he did. He kicked a couple of goals and barged through a couple of packs and did a couple of strong things. So.
Cunningham.
Well done, Hogan.
Off the ground by McKenna. Here's McGrath again. He'd be high in their best players. Into Parker. Big Max, he's a bit slower than he used to be.
Good tackle,
Good tackle again. Here's Hutchins' chip kick.
Beard on his own.
And he takes a mark. He tends to play on. Gets a handball into Jeffrey Phelps. Don't play with it, fellas. He should get a kick.
Snapped it around
and
his
he's
body.
goaled it. Would have looked a bit dicey, Fred, when Jeff Phelps started playing with the ball.
I didn't like the way he done it, Joe, but the end result was good. And that gives them that 31-point break again.
Anyway, that's about all I want to ask you, mate. Thanks very much, Marty. You're a legend. Fantastic. Good on you. Good job.
Yeah.